up somebody who has been on the front lines of her community in her state. I'm talking about Dr. Jill Stein, who has been an advocate for single-payer health care, an advocate for public financed elections, frankly, an advocate for transformational reform in the United States of America. Dr. Jill Stein.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who is here, because this is what Citizens Uniting really looks like. This is about citizens uniting to take back our rights of personhood, our constitutional rights, because in granting them to corporations, they've basically been taken away from human beings. So we need to take them back. The free speech, the granting of free speech being a case in point. Because if corporations have free speech rights and money is free speech, well, they've got the deep pockets and the big bucks, and they're going to drown us out. Are we going to let that happen? No way. I want to just tell you about one thing. Back in Massachusetts 15 years ago, we passed campaign finance reform. We passed publicly funded elections. But you know what happened?
Yes.
We did not also change the political system, because we passed it by a referendum by a 2-to-1 margin, and what happened within a matter of months was that the legislators repealed it and put us right back where we started. It brought home to me that this is a bigger fight than one single piece of legislation. This is about building a movement for peace, justice, and democracy, all of them together. And that movement is alive and well all over the United States and the world, for that matter, from the democracy revolutions in the Middle East, the student strikes in Europe, the uprisings in Madison, and the Occupy movement all over the United States, and we are all a part of that unstoppable movement. And one of those places to take that movement, of course, is into the voting booth. This is about occupying elections and occupying the ballot box as well. They all need to be taken back by us. Because right now, if we don't occupy them, we have surrendered them to the powers that be. And we need to fight them on all fronts. That's not to say we don't keep movement building in every way that we can, but it's important, in my view, to cast a vote not for the predatory politics as usual, but for the real alternatives that represent us. And in that line, I want to say I am proud to be here, as far as I can tell, as the only presidential candidate who is here supporting Move to Amend. And I want to also just remind you that it was the Green Party that has been calling for a constitutional amendment to take away corporate personhood since 1996. So I want to just affirm that this is a perfect storm, that government of, by, and for the 1% is crashing under its own weight right now, that people have had it up to here, 25 million who need jobs, 50 million who need health care, 6 million who've lost their homes, another 3 million in the pipeline, 30 million college students and recent graduates who cannot afford to pay their loans back and who are indentured servants. So that system is crumbling under its own weight. People are standing up, rising up, and taking the system back. It is time to take back that promise of democracy. Don't let them give you no for an answer. It is our time. We can have a healthy, just, peaceful, green future, and we can have it now. Thank you.
Jill Stein, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Jill Stein. You know, one thing I think is very important.
I'm Jill Stein. I'm the Green Party candidate for president, and I'm here to appreciate all these wonderful people who've come down from New Jersey on this amazing, incredible bus. The bus that is about... This is the democracy bus, and this is what democracy looks like. This is are united in taking back the promise of their democracy, because we know that that democracy, which was never perfect, but it's really been ripped away from us over the course, progressively, of the past many decades, but particularly with this recent Citizens United decision that made money equal to free speech, and that said corporations are people, so they have free speech too. But the problem there is that when you give the rights of personhood, when you give constitutional rights to corporations, then guess what? People don't have them anymore, because they can outspend us, out-influence us, and generally silence us. So Move to Amend is part of that fight to build a social movement. It is a constitutional movement, it is a legal movement, and it's also an electoral movement. My campaign is about bringing that voice into our elections so that we don't just surrender the conversation over to candidates who are very much a part of this big money system and who are sponsored by Wall Street and who are not recognizing that we've got to repeal corporate personhood as part of bringing our troops home and downsizing the military and creating jobs for people, jobs in the green economy that not only put everybody back to work, end that recession, but also jumpstart the secure green economy of the 21st century and put an end to the scourge of climate change.
You're here.
And add to that we deserve a single-payer Medicare for all.
All right.
And healthcare as a human right. They tell us this is something we can't afford, but they've got it completely backwards. This is something we cannot afford not to do. We will save money at the same time that we extend healthcare as a human right to everyone. We will put an end to medical inflation, which is actually the biggest driver in our debt. There are so many win-win solutions that we should be putting on the table, that we are putting on the table, but we are being, what shall we say, silenced by money and politics and by the power of corporations to control our communication system, our political system, you name it. This is about us taking our future back into our own hands, as these people have done here, being the courageous proponents that they are for Move to Amend, for getting our democracy back on track, and for using this perfect storm that we're in right now. It really is a perfect storm where we're losing all these things we need, the foundations of a livable future. So we are seizing this perfect storm right now to take that future back and to move us forward towards a peaceful, just, green future that really is within our reach right now. So I want to just hear it.
We the people. We the people. Thank you. Divided we stand, divided we bend. Have a safe trip back home.